Before I was fully committed to following Jesus, my life was a complete mess due to the emotional abuse I experienced growing up. Because I was shamed, I just wanted to be invisible so as not to bring any attention to myself. I was babied and wasn't taught how to deal with real issues or how to take responsibility for myself. Feelings weren't allowed, so I just kept them all inside, not knowing how to deal with them. When I became an adult, I spent a lot of time in a dark place of loneliness and despair. Things are very chaotic most of the time, full of turmoil and insecurities. I suffered from extreme anxiety and worry, shame, and feelings of unworthiness. I was not happy and was depressed a lot. My self-esteem was pretty much non-existent. In my anger and pain, I hurt others terribly. My relationships were pretty dysfunctional, and my thoughts were as well. I felt that I had no control over them. It was like being in prison in my own mind. I also struggled with rejection and abandonment issues. I was very sensitive and easily hurt by others. I took everything so personal, always thinking that it was because others didn't like me. I've always felt a sense of not fitting in with my peers, believing that I was different or not good enough. And I've always craved love and approval for others, looking for my identity in them rather than Jesus. I felt very alone, like nobody understood me or really cared. I had a deep, empty void inside me and wanted others to fill it. Up until almost 2 years ago, I had given up on things ever getting better in my life. I blamed others and was even angry at God for how my life was, instead of understanding that I was in victim mode and that I needed to take responsibility for my problems in order for things to change. I learned about Jesus as a child. My parents had Bible story books with pictures in them, and I remember my mom reading them to me. I also attended Sunday school and church with a friend for a while. I didn't go again until I began dating my future husband. We stopped attending many years later, then went to 2 different churches later, on and off, before we separated. I didn't go again until many years later, but not for very long. I would describe myself as a lukewarm Christian during all the years I was struggling. I did reach out to God a lot, but I just never really understood what it meant to put my full trust in Him. It was not a priority to actively pursue Him. In my heart, though, I knew I was a sinner and that Jesus had died for me. Finally, in 2023, I went to a new church, and it was there I learned about Celebrate Recovery, which is a Christian-based program that deals with any hurts, habits, and hang-ups that you're experiencing in life. I know God was working in my life to bring me there because there were just too many things that happened for it to be a coincidence. I started going to Celebrate Recovery in July of 2023. At first, my problems seemed insurmountable, and I couldn't see any light at the end of the tunnel. Through the 12 steps and fellowship with others in the program, however, I have experienced a new hope and freedom. I have started to heal and have learned different tools to use in my struggles. The main one is turning my life and my will over to Jesus. Choosing Him is not easy, but it is rewarding, knowing He loves me, cares for me, and is always there for me. I'm learning how to lay things at the foot of the cross, trusting that God will make all things right if I surrender to His will. Something I have to practice daily. He is my strength, and I can't do any of this without Him. My favorite Bible verse is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God, because it really just says it all. I don't blame Him anymore when going through hard times, and I've learned how to take total responsibility for my life now. Because I have truly given my life to Jesus this time, I now feel ready to make a public declaration of my commitment to Him in obedience to Him. My name is Laureen, and this is my story of new life.
Steps in that process of you publicly saying, I follow Jesus. And so we're excited for this day. I want to ask you 3 questions. Number 1, do you acknowledge that you're a sinner and that your sin separates you from God?
Yes.
Number 2, do you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised Him from the dead?
I do.
And the 3rd question I have for you is this. Do you commit to follow Jesus all the days of your life, as best you can, until that day when you stand before Him in glory? All right. Upon the confession of your faith, we now baptize you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.